Hello there, Capricorns. Welcome to your reading. I meditated quite a long time for your reading, and I was only able to come up with one image, and it wasn't like a moving reel. I didn't see anything, amazing or spectacular, but what I saw was I saw two circles. One is black and then one is white, and it's sort of like it sort of like hovers in the air. Okay, so it would like come in and out, touch each other, and then move apart. Okay, and then the areas where they touch each other, it would turn a little bit gray because the virtue of being black and white. There are like these gray areas that would converge, and then it would move away and back and forth. So that's what I saw. And I feel like the fact that the images came out in a very simplistic way, the black and the white, it indicates our shadow side and our enlightened side. Okay, so I almost feel like you might have your fair share of instances for this month where your shadow side wants to take over. But at the same time, you have that enlightened side of yourself that wants to balance it out, okay? So seeing things not so much in a binary way like black or white. Situations are rarely clear cut, are rarely just, black or white, yes or no. There are definitely a lot of gray areas in between, and the gray areas in between are the areas where we have to pay closer attention to, where it might be difficult for us to figure out, a correct course of action. And the course of action is rarely just a simple yes or no, black or white. Is it like this or is it like that? So I feel like you have to allow room in your analysis, in your reasoning, methodology to account for all of these gray areas. Okay, so I feel like that's coming out really strongly. And I want to talk a little bit more about that because there's another word that came out, but I'm going to tie it in with that word in just a little bit. So let me explain a little bit further, because right now Saturn is transiting your sign. Okay, so it's if you're looking at things from an astrological perspective, the planet Saturn is conjunct, which is it's right next to it's in your sign. Okay, and for many of you, it's if you are a a Capricorn sun is transiting, is right next to your sun sign. Saturn is a very karmic planet, and the energy that it brings to your life is about discipline. It's about hard work. It's about being very truthful and honest with yourself. It's about realizing your capabilities, realizing your strengths and your weaknesses, your enlightened and your shadow side, and working to kind of like eliminate your weaknesses. We can't eliminate our weaknesses completely, but we need to be cognizant of them. And whenever, these bad thoughts or the shadow side seeks to come out and tries to overrule us, or we make decisions from a space of weakness, from a space of frailty, from a space of, like a lapse in judgment, Saturn comes out to remind us that, actions come with consequences. So make sure you operate at your best. Make sure that you always strive to see the light or make decisions from the more enlightened side, because every decision comes with consequences. Okay, so that's what I'm feeling. And as an earth sign in general, and this is something that I see a lot with Taurus. Taurus is a very young earth sign. It's one of the first, the first earth sign of the zodiac, right? And Taurus are all about practicality. Okay, so talk to any Taurian person that you know. They can be a little bit calculating. Their energy is usually very, very young, and they analyze situation from a very surface, level. How is this? Like they're calculated. They make calculated decisions, and I feel like the way that they drive, especially, what's the quickest route that I can take from point A to point B. They're very good at problem solving in that way. And then look at the Virgo people. The Virgo people are very self-critical. Okay. They understand that they have a lot of shortcomings, and I feel like, you know, they see more of their shortcomings than their strengths. And so I feel like, in an extreme sense, for many of you, throughout the Saturn transit, which began, I believe, in January of last year, 2018. So life was not, you know, like a rosy path. Like, life was not a bed of roses for many of you starting in that January 2018 timeframe. And I feel like for many of you, you are doubting your capabilities, okay? So you might have started out on the voyage as a Taurus, where you're very pragmatic, very, very practical, and you're going through a period of self-doubt that the Virgoan people are dealing with right now, where you are questioning, you know, am I really as good as I think I am? And by virtue of being the last sign of the zodiac, the last earth sign of the zodiac, and also the few last signs of the zodiac, I feel like for many of you in the past, you make a lot of allowances to live in the gray areas. Okay, you understand that people have a lot of flaws. You understand that nobody's perfect. And so you look past a lot of people's flaws. You're understanding, you're still loving, and you're very, very caring. Despite the challenges that other people deal with, despite, you know, like their lapse in judgment, despite their weakness of character, you still embrace them, you still care for other people, and so you operate a lot more in the gray area. And the reason why I bring this up as well is I feel like with the Saturn transit, it's teaching you a lot more about just seeing things in a little bit more of a binary way, okay? The dark areas and the white areas, okay? Life should be compartmentalized in that way, so that when we make decisions, we don't waste a lot of time mulling over these gray areas. We should make a decision as an affirmative, which might be the white areas, or as a negative, which might be the black area. And I'm going somewhere with this, bear with me. The other word when I was meditating that I heard was the counterfactual. And counterfactuals, the way that they work is, a lot of the times in life, we only know the choices that we make and the consequences of our actions, okay? So it's sort of like, you know, black or white. If I take route A, it's going to lead me here. If I take route B, it's going to lead me here. And so I feel like, in a way, we can plan and anticipate what's the best outcome, but we don't truly know the ultimate best outcome until we specifically decide on a course of action, go down that path, and then see what awaits us at the end of our voyage. Okay, so that's just the way life is. The counterfactual forces us to think about the alternative route that we didn't take and what that would have been like. And no one can know, if I had taken, you know, plan B, how is my life going to be different? If I had not gotten married, if I had pursued my career or put my career first, where would I be right now? Or on the other hand, if I didn't, you know, pursue my career, and if I didn't move away from that town, if I had stayed with my high school sweetheart and, you know, gotten married, settled down, had a family, what would my life be like right now? So I feel like there are many, many of you who are facing like a very crucial, almost like that fork in the road in your life, and you're thinking about all the culmination of all the choices, all the life decisions, all the things that you have chosen, and where it got you today. And you're also thinking about, you know, if I hadn't done this, if I had taken that alternate route, that counterfactual, like, what would my life be like? And in a very pragmatic way, I feel for many of you, you're just sort of like, I won't know. I don't have that counterfactual to compare my life to. I don't know what, you know, what would have happened if I'd taken a different route. I don't know what my life is going to be like. And so I almost feel like there is either you have a inclination to want to backtrack to a previous point in your life, where you were facing a similar crossroads and trying to figure out, if I had taken a different path, what would my life be like right now? So I'm seeing a lot of I'm seeing a lot of just reflecting on the past. I'm also seeing a lot of people aiming to make better decisions, okay, which is great. We always want to strive towards, self-improvement, and things like that. And I feel like that's where you're at right now. You really, really want to be on the up and up, walking a straight path, making decisions that are what you feel to be better decisions than what you have done in the past, okay? Like vowing to yourself, never making the same mistakes, being a better person, just making decisions that will yield you the life that you want moving forward, okay? So the things that you value, I feel almost like you're putting them in the palm of your hands, and you're really, really looking at, for once, like really looking at, here are the things that I value. It took me a long time to realize that these things are important to me. And I need to make decisions to better, not only myself, but also to create a better future for the things that I value. So I almost see like an old man, holding like everything that's really dear to him, all of his earthly possessions in one hand, and almost like looking back and like, this is at the end of my life. This is what I have to show for myself. And I feel like there's a tinge of like disappointment. Like I should have made better decisions, because this is all that I have to show for it at the end of my life. And then for others of you who might not be, who are still going through your journey, you're realizing that everything that I value, everything that's really important in my life, can be counted on these 10 fingers. And so I need to be a better person. I need to make better choices. And I need to, create a better future for myself and all of these things that I value, all the people that I value. And so I feel this element of who's really important to you, what's really important to you. All of that is becoming very, very clear now, okay? It took that annoying Mercury retrograde transit last month that we were dealing with from like March 5th until the 23rd. All of that has to be cleared up for you to realize in the here and now what's really important to you. What are you carrying forward into the future with you? What wasn't working before? And I feel like for many of you, there were decisions that you didn't make, and you've always wondered, like, what would my life be like if I had made those decisions? And on the other hand, we also have those, really positive counterfactual, where I feel like, somebody told you should have done this, and then you didn't do it because there's a sense of knowing, your intuition was kicking in, and you're just like, no, I don't really want to do that. So you didn't do that. And then now coming into the month of April, you found out some situation about that decision that somebody told you to make last month or, a few months ago. And you realize that you averted a crisis by not going forward with it, by listening to your intuition. Your intuition was telling you, not right now, not yet, don't do that. It's not the right time. And what you realized was your intuition was right all along. You averted a crisis. You dodged a bullet. You wanted, and I feel like for many of you, this was like 2018 energy. You wanted a major shakeup, a major change in your life. We have here the Tower, okay? The Tower is very cataclysmic. It's like some major upheaval, a situation that uproots your foundation. And I feel like for many of you, you felt like you were kind of stuck, like in a rut. You wanted something to kind of like break you out of your shell, or you wanted a major drastic change, okay? You felt like life was very, very restrictive. The situation that you found yourself in, the work environment, the job, the family situation, there were definitely a lot of responsibilities. I do see like a major escalation in responsibilities that came through towards the end of 2018. And I feel like it came to the point where it was almost like almost unbearable. You guys are really, really strong. The last element, like the last elemental signs of the zodiac, usually indicates that sign has already mastered that energy. Okay, so you're an earth sign, the last earth sign of the zodiac. You have really, really mastered the practical responsibilities, handling the everyday, like the day-to-day operations of your life. But I feel like, you know, responsibilities were really piling on, and things were very, very it's almost like overwhelming. You wanted a major change, and I feel like all through 2018 you were fighting for some really, really big change, wanting to make, like, you know, some major changes, and your intuition was telling you this is not a time for change right now. And I feel like many of you were going for something that was going to be like revolutionary. It was going to change your life, or you thought it was going to do that, and your intuition was telling you, don't make any changes, pull back a little bit. You listened to it, and now coming into April, you realize that you made the right choice, because that decision would have been catastrophic financially, and, you know, just like it would have really corroded a very, very stable foundation that you have worked really hard on many over the course of many years to build up. And I feel like, you know, you averted a crisis. For others of you, March was a really problematic month. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like that Mercury retrograde energy brought up a lot of uncomfortable things that we had to confront about ourselves, our capabilities, the lies we tell ourselves. And I feel like it centers on what we feel about ourselves. Like, are we capable? Are we competent? Are we able to shoulder the responsibilities? I feel like there might have been a few of you that might have broken, like, it's like you might have buckled under the pressure. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. We have to occasionally be reminded of our human limitations. Okay, we can't be running constantly on adrenaline. And I feel like that's what it feels like, running on empty or running on adrenaline, and you feel like you could tackle all the responsibilities. And I feel like the month of March was a gentle, as bad as it was for many of you, it was still a gentle reminder that you have human limitations, and you can't neglect self-care. You can't neglect your mental health. We are all human beings, and our mind, our psyche, our emotional balance is very fragile. So we needed to take care of ourselves. And I feel like for many of you, you needed to take care of yourself. Your mind was very, very fragile because you're under a lot of pressure, and you've neglected your emotional and mental needs. Okay, you've neglected the fact that you're not an Energizer bunny. You have human limitations. You need to rest and recuperate. You need to clear up your head, and you need to treat your mind like it's a very delicate object, because it is. It's prone to malfunctioning when we're not operating at our best, when we're not getting enough sleep, when we're not getting enough rest. So you've realized that. And so moving forward into the month of April, building upon what we already know. Okay. We have here the Wheel of Fortune, and the Wheel of Fortune is it's indicative of signs and synchronicities, and especially in this situation, it's about, you know, moving forward in a more measured, with a more measured approach, or in a way that is like it's not pushing forward. It's allowing things to naturally turn forward for you, move forward for you, allowing situations to come together where you're not pushing against the tide, because I feel like that's what you were doing. This is battling the element, 7 of Wands. A lot of things, a lot of responsibilities, a lot of people coming towards you, and you kind of like have to almost fend them off with a stick, okay? and your efforts have not been successful. I feel like you were putting out a lot of fires. You were doing a lot of damage control. You were kind of like pulled in multiple directions. You were in high demand. You were catering to other people's needs. You were taking care of a lot of responsibilities. It's almost like to that 10 of Wands stage, but it's a 7 of Wands. So it's like, it's getting there. And I feel like you needed that R&R. You needed to separate yourself because you realized that you were running yourself ragged. Okay, so your common sense kicked in. Page of Swords, communication, information coming to light, and realizing some major truths about yourself. For many of you, there might have been some type of a defensiveness between you and an air sign. So this is an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. This is a person that really challenges the way that you do things, the way that you think, the way that you behave. This is somebody that, if they're not an air sign, I feel like you're dealing with someone who's very curious, who's very inquisitive, who is very, it's almost like once they smell that there's something off, they're kind of like a bloodhound. They're doggedly like looking for the truth. Okay, so I feel like there's a situation here where you felt like you had to defend the things that you believe in. You had to defend yourself. You had to explain yourself, or you had to prove to somebody something. And I feel like they were asking you a lot of questions. They were giving you a lot of information, or they were like trying to get a lot of information out of you. And I feel like this energy could have come in through multiple people wanting a lot of, they're trying to exact a lot of changes in the environment. And I feel like there's definitely pushback from your end. And you're telling them, this is too much, this is too soon. Let's do one thing and see how things go first before we throw in like 7 other things on top of it. So I feel like you were telling people in your environment, we need to slow down. This is not the right time. And it was your intuition telling you, too much too soon is never a good thing. And I feel like, coming on the heels of that Mercury retrograde, you started to realize that that was a period of planning and staging. It wasn't the right time to act. And moving into the month of April, you have the green light. This is the month where we put plans to action. This is the month where we do the trial run. This is the month where we start to, take all of those ideas, all of those plans, and we can start moving them or introducing them or carrying them out into the world and see what sticks and see what works and see what yields the best outcome. So everything that you've been through, you have really learned to be strategic. You have really learned to kind of like harness your energy in a more systematic way, okay? Rather than just like doggedly moving straight ahead. I feel like you learn to ration, you learn to preserve your energy, you learn to work smart, and you also learn the whole concept about, it's almost like allowing divine timing to dictate to you when to stop and when to go, and really trusting that you are so plugged in and in tune with the energy around you to know when's the right time to do things and when is the right time to pull back. Okay, so I feel like there has been some upsetting communication that came through in the month of March, but I feel like you're getting a lot more clarity. You're getting a better sense of like a better lay of the land so that you can move forward, moving into the month of April. We also have the Chariot, and the Chariot is a card of success, okay? So this is sort of like harnessing the disparate energies between us. In the traditional Rider-Waite deck, we have the black horse and the white horse. And that indicates to me the oppositional energy between us. The things that we want versus the things that we feel we have to do. And so I feel like there's this juggling act. Many of you have really, resolved this internal conflict within yourself. The balance between time for myself and time to take care of practical worldly responsibilities. The balance between moderation and, pushing back against things that are trying to come into the fold, okay? And also releasing control. So this is a really, really good card that indicates to me forward movement, progression in a very calculated, in a very systematic way, in a very strategic way as well. I feel like for many of you, you have dodged a big, like you have dodged a bullet here when it comes to your career sector. I have here the Nine of Pentacles, and this is usually leisure time, or being in a position where, you know, the money that you make, it's also counterbalanced by the free time that you have. Okay, so you're in a position where you're sitting pretty. You make quite a bit of money, I'm seeing here, but at the same time, the money that you make and the amount of work that you put in doesn't interfere with your personal life. There was a position or something that came in where it guaranteed a lot more money. And I feel like for many of you, your intuition was telling you, yes, it's a step up, or yes, it's a pay increase, or yes, there's a lot of money involved, but there's also a lot of management involved. There's also a lot of like dealing with other people. There's also a lot of like work that is required of me that will really interfere with my free time. And so I feel like, you know, the additional increase in money was not enough. You saw it for what it was, basically. And you realize that, yes, there is a lot of money, but it came about with, you know, it's almost like it didn't bring you peace of mind. In even the thought of it, you didn't want to get involved in it because it did not bring you peace of mind. And you chose to forgo it, or you chose to not get involved in it, mainly because you wanted to be in this state of equilibrium where you can enjoy your free time, where you have the luxury to be able to really, you know, work on side projects that you're happy with, work on your hobbies, work on tinkering, you know, in the garage, work on other things that brings you happiness. And so you realize that, you know, work is work, and I need to neatly compartmentalize and leave work at work and allocate the time for myself and, you know, those things and the people that really matter to me, because life is not all about work. Life is not all about climbing that career ladder. Life is not all about just, you know, reaching the top and then finding yourself at the end of the day. Yes, I've made it to the top of this tower, but then again, I'm alone. And so I feel like there was an energy for a potentially very cutthroat situation to come into the picture, but I feel like you dodged a bullet, you averted it, and now we're back to this state where you have a lot of peace and contentment and equilibrium. And what's moving forward as well? We have here the Magician, and the Magician, I always think of him as like tinkering in the garage and with a lot of hobbies. Okay, so many of you have a lot of hobbies, a lot of interest. Your mind might be a little bit scattered. You have a lot of ideas that you want to bring forth into the world, and your workstation, for whatever reason, looks to me to be a little bit messy. It's really important for you, and I don't know how it is with earth signs. You guys are generally very neat and organized, but I feel like for many of you who have been dealing with your Saturn return right now, you need to have a better system. You need to create a better, like a streamlined process for yourself, so that you don't forget things, so that everything that you need is clearly labeled and laid out in front of you, so that you don't lose things, so that you don't skip over important steps. If your workstation, your desk, your table, your area it's like a jumbled mess, that's a reflection of your inner working, and you're not going to be able to get anything done in an accurate way, or in a satisfying way, or in a thorough way if your work area is messy. Okay, so I'm feeling like some of you need to start to declutter your garage, to declutter your attic. You have a gazillion projects, hobbies, interests that you're partaking in, and I feel like there are a lot of unfinished projects on the table. And this is not a good, I feel like Capricorns, for anybody, not just for Capricorns, the best way in which you operate is you deal with things systematically, one thing at a time. get this done first, get it out of the way, get it away from you so you don't have to think about it. Knock things out one at a time. There's something here I'm seeing building up, okay? Things just like kind of like piling up or building up. And you're realizing that everything that you need is not in front of you. And you're waiting in suspense, the Hangman. You're waiting on decisions for other people. You're waiting for people to give you the green light. You're waiting for people to tell you what's the next step. And it can be very, very frustrating. So whatever you can take care of to kind of like remove it from your workstation, from your environment, try to do that now. Okay, so the month of April is all about clearing up garbage, clearing up baggage, clearing up situations and projects and little knickknacks and little side gigs and little hobbies that are wasting a lot of your time, and decluttering your space so that you can have that serenity and that peace of mind. So you want to, you know, make sure that you actively take care of these things. Don't procrastinate anymore. And especially, you know, whatever you can take care of, whatever you can clear up, try to do it now. So I feel like, you know, the energy for this month is not as busy as last month. I feel like last month there were a lot of responsibilities. This is a month where it's a little bit more laid back. There are more things coming in. And so you need to still be flexible to anticipate that things are still coming in. But in the meantime, you have a little bit of a breather. So while you're, you know, relaxing, it might be better for you to start to clear up some of these things that are just, you know, in front of you, that are really energetically pulling from you, and it's not allowing you to concentrate, to hone in your laser-like focus that you normally have at other times of the year. And so clear up those things so that energetically you're not thinking about them, so that you can conserve your energy for the big things, okay? Finances looks really good. Nine of Pentacles is somebody who's on top of their game, who is very self-sufficient, can take care of themselves. So money is not really an issue. What I do feel is you have a lot of projects you're trying to get off the ground, and you're trying to get approval from other people. And then I also feel there's a lot of scattered energy. Seven of Cups, having a lot of options, having a lot of choices, being distracted. Okay, getting a lot of distraction, a lot of like being pulled in multiple directions as well. So we have Seven of Wands, fighting off the elements, and then Seven of Cups, being very, very scattered. So energetically, you are very, very scattered. And so this might be the month where, you know, it might be good or smart to see things in a very binary way. Steer clear of those gray areas. Look at things more black and white. It might actually be good for you. Look at things very quickly as black and white. You know, is this something I can do? If yes, put it in the yes pile. If this is something that's beyond my realm of expertise, or something that's not really remotely interesting, put it in the no pile and get somebody else to do it, or delegate responsibilities, whatever you need to do in order to neatly compartmentalize, in order to neatly organize your space and your energy. That's really, really important. I feel like many of you just need like, you need to clear out. If you have an extra, if you have the luxury of having an extra room in your house, make sure that is your private sanctuary. You can turn that into a study. You can turn that into your office, so that you can carve out and create that space just for yourself, so that you're not distracted by a gazillion other things that are happening in your household or in your environment, okay? You might want to drown out the noise. Less conversations, less music, less distraction. Turn off the TV and kind of sit still with yourself and sort things out, okay? On the other hand, we have here a very, very strong positive love energy, okay? A lot of support coming through from the people that you love. I have the Page of Cups, water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, and the Seven of Cups. And the Seven of Cups this is somebody who's looking at all of the options, okay? So I feel somebody's coming in, they're seeing your struggle, they're understanding, and they're appreciating everything that you've done to kind of ease the situation. So this is someone who's very loving, who's very sweet, who's very innocent. They have a really, really good heart, okay? I also see this as somebody who either comes in like, I'm sorry that I said that, I'm sorry that that happened, and you know, they just want to give you a hug. So this is someone who's very sweet. They want to make the situation better for you. And with the Seven of Cups, I feel like, you know, this is somebody that is telling you, oh, over the weekend, let's go for a drive, let's go camping, let's go fishing, let's go to this restaurant, let's try this recipe. They're trying to alleviate the stress for you, and they're trying to make recommendations as to what the two of you can do in order to clear your head. So I feel like this is someone who really cares about you, and they're not that they're trying to distract you, but I feel like they're looking for ways to kind of like make you feel at ease doing the things that you love. Okay, so they're going to be coming in with a lot of ideas when it comes to date night, when it comes to like cooking, when it comes to like, you know, recreational activity. So this is really, really positive. On the other hand, we have an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra, or just inflammatory news and communication. Very, very big, major news. And I feel like you're still dealing with the ramifications of that. You're still dealing with the aftermath. And you're still, I feel like many of you thought you might have been in the clear, and then somebody dumps like a bunch of work on you. And they're like, oh, by the way, you know, do these things because somebody else was not able to. So I see you taking on responsibilities that are meant for other people. The other people dropped the ball, and they couldn't take care of their responsibilities in a timely manner. And, you know, lo and behold, it lands on your desk. So I feel like, you know, you have to be flexible. But I also feel like this is a month where we need to really look at something very objectively and try to quickly and systematically figure out if this is something that we want, grab it. If it's not something that we want to push it away. Okay. Once again, I'm seeing like, you know, the outstretched hands and the little things that I'm feeling for those of you who are finally coming to this sense of like, these are the things I can count on all of my fingers, all the things and all the people that are important to me. It's not really about the big house. It's not about, you know, the salary. It's not about the big job. It's the people in my life that are really, really important to me. In the past, I might have been distracted. I might have, you know, gone after the shiny, shimmery things and forgotten myself or forgotten what's really important to me. And so I feel like for many of you, you're trying to make amends. You're trying to make things right. You have dealt with a lot of hardships, and you realize who's really around for you, who really cares for you, and who's, you know, there to nurture you or to pick you up when life dealt you blows. And so you're holding these people really, really close to your chest, and you're tightening your circle when it comes to, you know, the things that matter or the people that matter to you, which is great. We're looking at things from a different angle. And we have also, you know, we've needed to make sacrifices. We needed to experience periods of upheaval in order for us to realize, you know, what is still around. Like, in light of this upheaval, who is still around until this day? And I feel like that's a really powerful message to kind of let you know that you're on the right track, and you have to tighten up your energy and tighten up and neaten up your environment, okay? I will leave it at that, and I hope the reading is helpful for you guys. This is the first time that I've used this deck of cards, and I've had it for years. I just never used it because it's hard for me to connect, and I feel like I might not use it again in the future, but I just feel like the reading is a little bit scattered, okay? So I apologize if it is. I hope it's still helpful for you guys, and I do wish you all the best. For those of you who are looking for a private reading, I do have a link in the description box for a psychic. Her name is Bridget. She's based out of California. She's phenomenal, so I highly recommend you getting a reading from her if you're looking for, you know, spiritual guidance, or if you know someone else who is. So the link is in the description box below. Take care of yourself, okay? And I'll talk to you guys in about 2 weeks' time.